what's up? How's it going?
Going good?
Yeah, that's cool. So, this is Steel Kite, not to be confused with Steel. Not gonna say that word because it's not that kind of show. But
Right.
yeah. So you were gonna call in and say what you wanted to say about these watches, these smartwatches that are made for tracking people when they fap, so that they know how good they're doing when they're when they're
Yeah.
when they're doing things like playing Fap Hero on Pornhub and whatnot.
Yeah. And I really think that, despite the benefits of it, clearly, I mean, they really reward this FAP tracking, right? You play FAP Hero. Um, if you're a big Pokemon Go fan like me, you can just put
They
that
really
put that
reward.
Garmin right on your wrist, and you can essentially like jack your way to uh, evolving all your Pokemon.
Oh wait,
Um,
you can connect to Pokemon Go as well, or
Absolutely.
oh okay,
It can any most apps that use like that geo tracking,
yeah.
um, you can connect those to it, and you can, um, if it counts steps, then you can kind of just fap your way to victory.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like with those that Pikachu thing that you clip to your belt that tracks your steps and then you just shake it. But like instead of shaking it, it's like now it's like on your watch. So like you could just jack off and then like that's how you get like your Pikachu to level up.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have a Raichu in no time, man.
Oh, okay, that's cool. In New York City, they actually had an event. I think it was last year where they had all these the Pikachu's wearing the hat, and that would have come in handy over there. But those don't evolve. I think those are special.
No, you can actually get the Raichu with the hat on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
I know
never
you
got
just
that
need
far
enough
because
candies. And where do you get those candies? Jack it
where?
off.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah.
But no, you know what? They really make it rewarding, and I think they do that for a reason because they do definitely want to track all of our masturbation habits. Um, Pornhub releases their metrics every year, and they're very impressive. Just the amount of raw data that kind of goes through that site. Um, and I think places like Google and Amazon and different companies and I mean if you really got want to get into the deep conspiracy theories like that shadowy cabal uh, and the Illuminati and stuff like this is all good data for them um, because if you're fapping you're not making that nuclear family you're not making kids
Yeah.
and they want that man because it's all about control.
Oh, because if you have fewer people, then you have fewer people that you need to control, so your job is easier.
Exactly.
So this is what you would recommend, like if you let's say you were like trying to like create a crony capitalist corporate hedge money over the world, and you needed to control the people so that they buy your products that you make, so that you can constantly just make a profit while getting government contracts, so that you don't actually have to be competitive in any way. This is the route that you have to take as a
Exactly.
as a business executive.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all good data, man. Like you can track when people fap, how fast they fap, what's their average fap time, and you can start to target ads to these people. You see someone is, um, you see someone is, jacking off to a lot of bondage porn. Then Amazon comes in, they say, well, you know what? Why don't you buy some cool handcuffs and stuff off of Amazon, which you're never going to use because you're just too busy watching porn.
Some people argue that with the coming VR, VR developments, people are going to be engaging in more of a virtual reality sex dungeon thing instead of going through the traditional route of, kidnapping and imprisoning people in their sex dungeons. So, how do you think this is going to affect the Amazon, selling of these handcuffs and things that people are no longer going to be using?
Well, I mean, as with all businesses, eventually they got to transition into a different market, right? Amazon has their own. I'm sure you heard they have a very big digital media division right now. They're getting into shows, they're getting into that sort of thing. I would imagine that at some point, they can start producing their own VR headsets, their own VR porn, right? It's included with
Uh,
your Amazon Prime subscription. So
yeah.
I mean, they're just going to transition eventually from that sort of thing into something else, right?
Oh
Something
yeah,
that
and
keeps
then
them
Amazon
honest.
Prime has a habit of not including everything in Amazon Prime. So like you'll have these like certain things that are not eligible for Amazon Prime, so you have to pay like extra. It's like microtransactions for a
Exactly. Like
subscription. Yeah.
they give you the normal porn for free, but you got to shell out a couple bucks for like the good stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then the normal porn is usually funded through additional like AI data mining and
Exactly.
gathering of metadata.
Yeah.
So
So it costs them very little to produce. I mean, uh, you're essentially creating your own porn stars with this too. So they'll work for uh, minimum wage. They're not asking the big bucks to be porn stars. You have amateur porn people who's just putting it out for free. That's a huge market.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we
And then
also have the porn stars who are not putting it out for free, and they complain to people who pay for that to not pirate it with these
exactly
messages
that
in it.
too. I would say that's the an arm of that too. Yeah, they
Oh,
want to
okay.
crush those. I think the reason those porn stars who um, market their own porn are so defensive about it is because these big companies can do it at a much easier rate.
Oh yeah, they can do it for almost for free, and then a lot of times they do it for free. So it kind of basically, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't actually know anybody who actually pays for porn. So I imagine, is it like one person has to pay for it so they can upload it to the torrent sites? Because like they have to make money somehow, and I'm not quite sure how they're making all this money to make the initial videos that they can release for free so that they can data mine people.
Well, it's like any that kind of nickel and dime microtransaction. The video game industry is actually a great example of that. It's a small group of people with a lot of money essentially funding this, and there is again that huge group of people who just pirate it and watch it for free. There's people who will just never pay for that porn. But there's that small minority who has a lot of money and who will always pay for that porn. And they're the ones who are kind of releasing it.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Um, yeah. Right now, I'm trying to see if anyone has access to Maddox's server because I think that it would be pretty funny if we just actually hosted the show from the voice chat of Maddox's server, and then just like hosted the show on that Discord channel.
That would be great. I'm all for that.
I don't know what his server is or if it's a paywalled server or not. But if we can get that going, I think Thomas mentions that he was in it, like he's got a mod in there or something.
Yeah. Listen, if he sends you a link, you're gonna want to send that to me. Me and him are not on good terms right now.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Do you want to talk about that? Because I thought that he was like friends with people, but then he started not being friends with certain people.
yeah, I don't know what it is lately. Like he seems like a really cool guy. He's fun to play Fortnite with. I used to play a little bit of Fortnite with him, but he's just it
Like
seems
on the
like
Hazen
late.
server, like what they.
No, just like together. I just invite him into a group. He plays on PS4. I play on Xbox, so we
Oh, you
just
can do like a cross
yeah.
compatibility.
So that was fun. The few times I played with him, but he'll. One of the problems is I think he's kind of a night person. Uh,
So
and he
you're
keeps.
thinking that it was probably something like he was cranky from being up at the wrong time, and then
uh,
and then that's
it
why
could
you're.
be. He also always asks whenever he asks me. He asked me at like 11 p.m. It's like, dude, I'm going to bed now. I can't play with you, and I'm sorry. And I think he took that personally at some point.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I've got nothing against the guy.
Do you know anything about those people who are mad at Hazen Cruz or Hazen Cruz?
I know a little bit about that.
Like I already
I
forgot who he was talking about. He mentioned some people that like were trying to say that he was bad because he talked to what was that guy's name? Clegg. He talked to Clegg for a while. to try to rehabilitate
Yeah.
him.
Um,
He tried to run
and
like an incel rehabilitation clinic, and
I,
it didn't
you
work
know
so
what?
well.
And I actually tried. I tried really hard to like get away from all that
Oh,
because
okay. Let's.
I wasn't Hazen. Oh no, I'll talk about it. I wasn't Hazen server, and I wasn't. These are the game night guys, the Dick
Okay.
Show game night server.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I guess he was Hazen was a mod in the original Dick Show server.
Okay.
Um,
The Dick's
and
Court, that one.
the Discord, yeah, and he ended up banning a bunch of people for one reason or another.
Uh,
And I guess these guys were part of that ban list. Um, and I think they were on him for some point about talking to Clegg and stuff like that. It's the old kind of it's the internet thing where it's like, oh yeah, as soon as you call someone a pedophile and they have that name kind of stuck with them, then you better not talk to them at all, or um, we're gonna
th-
come after you, sort of
that's
thing.
kind of like the alt right type thing. Like I think I mentioned this before. It's like it's kind of like they're doing a remake of like the zombie themed movies, but they're having it set in the internet, and instead of zombies, it's the alt right, and instead of getting bitten. Like someone bites you and then you turn into a zombie. Like if you talk to an alt right person, then you turn into an alt right, and
Yeah,
so
that
you can't talk to them. Like they can talk to you, but if you talk to them, then you turn into an alt right, and then that's how the virus gets spread. So it's kind of like that.
it is, and it's like if you talk to a guy who's been called a pedophile, that automatically makes you a pedophile too.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I for a while there, I mean, I left the game night server when that I noticed a lot of that shit going on between them, so I left the game night server for a little bit, and I left Hazen's server for a little bit.
When was the thing with like the whole thing about the drugs and hookers that they were supposedly going to have?
Oh fuck. I don't even remember how far back that was. I mean,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not
I
really all
heard
that
something about
recent.
it. I don't know the details. I just heard
Yeah.
like bits and pieces.
Yeah, I heard bits and pieces too, but I kind of tried to remove myself from that.
Oh, okay, that's
Not
cool.
that like I got nothing against the game night guys, and I got nothing against Hazen, so I don't want to. I kind of don't want to be forced to pick sides.
Okay,
I'm
so
just
you're not gonna pick a side. That's cool. Because I haven't picked a side either because I don't know what's going on. I don't even remember the names of the
I
game
don't. You know
night
what? I
people.
don't even know if there's a side to pick really. Like I don't know what the argument's all that about.
I kind of feel like I need one of those like game strategy guides for the internet that like kind of tells
Yeah,
you like
you know, I
what.
saw someone posted earlier like there's like a flow chart of like beef or spite, a spite flow chart that
Wait,
someone had.
so there actually was one because I was trying to like find like maybe like those online like corkboard things to see if there's something we could make one if there wasn't one already.
Yeah,
But
it's like in an old detective movie where they got all the fucking cork boards up in like news clippings and little red strings tied to each of them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
So
I need one of these to understand who hates each other.
yeah,
And
yeah, like you'll know like who's friends with who has beef with who, and then like you
yeah,
could have like different colored strings that attach people like if they're cool with each other or if they're not. And then if someone is a fan of someone else, it could just be like an arrowed string so you know that it's a kind of like a one-way
yeah,
relationship. And then yeah, that would be pretty cool and I think that would be pretty useful. It's I tried finding something that would be free that you could just find online, but a lot of them are paid. You have to pay like a subscription service for them, and so it's
uh,
not very practical. You
that's
could
fine.
just make it in like Microsoft Paint, but then
Yeah.
it's gonna be more of a pain in the ass to edit when someone starts a beef with somebody else.
You know what? It would be that's one of those things where I'm like, you know what? That's good for someone else to do because I don't have the knowledge or the drive to do this myself. I
This
don't-
is something. Yeah, I
yeah,
get what you mean. It's something that you want to look at, but you don't want to make.
yeah,
So
that's yeah,
like certain types of porn is like you would want to look at it but you wouldn't want to make it because
exactly.
it's like like sometimes it's like a smell thing that like
Oh
you're
god,
it's like 'cause some people like to shit on it saying like oh like you're like an incel if you like consuming this but like if you're looking at like a video of like a girl getting a swirly while getting anal that's gonna be like a little bit like
yeah.
on the screen you don't have to deal with the smells that are involved.
Oh
So it's a
god, yeah.
completely different experience when you do it in real life.
Dude, there's a lot of shit I see on the internet that it's like, yeah, I can watch this, but Holy fuck! I don't ever want to be a part of it.
I think it's mostly the smell thing, and then also like the yeah, it's like kind of that, and then also the you know having to deal with a lot of stuff like before and afterwards, and then it's really a very inconvenient situation.
It is.
Yeah. Oh, Interrogator just posted a picture of of Nanachi again, and
That
he's
you know
work.
what? I'm not surprised. I'll be honest.
Okay,
Um,
I was actually I was pretty excited when he did the Dick Show post thing and he got on the show,
yeah,
and it was actually more entertaining to see Nope's like just clipping of it where he like put together a little animation for it. That
yeah,
was I like how Nope is the one who's like usually chronicling this guy's antics because a lot of people had said things that Interrogator has said and he could respond by doing like a similar thing, but he's only responded like to Interrogator with these kind of things so far, which I think is pretty funny.
yeah. Nope seems to have like Nope, and it's funny because it's like it's almost like a battlefield painter in the 1600s. Uh, Nope somehow has eyes always on the server and can graphically chronicle these events in such a way that even people who don't know of them will find the drawings amusing. Um, is
Unless
that
it's the life coach who doesn't get emotion evoked from this rabbit guy.
right? Right. What kind of emotion does Nanachi invoke?
That wasn't even
Uh,
the question. It was just like, what do you think about? He was
what
like,
do you think? Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think about it? I don't know. You know,
About
it
like the
is.
character itself, not even the drawing, but
I didn't even really know what to think about it the first time I saw it, and then he kind of wormed his way into my brain, and then I ended up watching the anime that it's from.
yeah, I actually watched it at the gym because I wanted to find out like what is this guy talking about, and then
Oh,
it turns out that
public is not the place to watch that.
the rabbit doesn't even show up until like episode 10, which is
Oh
like at
fuck
the
yeah,
end.
like it's way in, which is funny because uh she's in the credits of like since in episode like 2, and I was like, okay, like I can tell like she's coming at some point, but holy fuck, you get 3 episodes with her.
Yeah,
Um,
basically.
and
And then
they're not happy episodes either. Like they're not. You see all the pictures he posts of like this rabbit, and it's like, oh yeah, like this
I'm
is a
pretty sure
cool.
this is mostly fan art that's being posted,
I
so
know
it's
it's all
good.
fan art. It's like this is a nice happy rabbit, and then uh
Or like a smug rabbit, or like a rabbit
yeah,
that's like
but in the show it's just it's all sad and like fucking dark. Um,
I mean, well, then again, I've seen a lot darker, so I guess it's not
oh,
dark. Like, so like we have like sometimes we just review anime in like 30 seconds or less. So
right.
this is my review slash spoiler for Psychono. Are you cool with me spoiling that?
Yes, I don't watch a lot of anime, so I'm
Okay, so
fine
the
with
girl
people
dies
spoiling anything.
twice in that anime. The ends. So yeah, there you go.
All right.
So that one was like considerably sadder because yeah, you have some people dying in Made in Abyss, but nobody nobody dies twice as far as I know. So
Yeah.
you have that.
Made in Abyss is very well animated, I find. Like the stills on a 4K TV, that like it looks beautiful.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
was watching on my phone because it's included in Amazon Prime.
yeah,
So
that's ooh, yeah, that's maybe not the optimal viewing experience. Whatever.
yeah, I mean it's a meme anime, so it's all good.
Yeah,
So
it kind of is.
yeah. So we talked about that, and then what was the other thing that you wanted to talk about? I even forgot what it was.
Um, we didn't really get into the phase deathmatch part of that.
Yeah,
Um,
because one phases like AFK for like the next like three
yeah,
weeks, and
she's
then like
AWOL.
and then Interrogator is working until 12:50
Right.
a.m., which makes me question what kind of employment this is because he's probably doing something that's security related, or
Yeah, no, he
is
drives a lot,
he
and I
drives a lot too.
yeah, I
Is he
think he told.
driving while bun posting? Like he's got his phone in his one hand and like he gets
Oh,
pulled over
he
for
absolutely is.
like the cops like pulls him
He
over.
once
It's
sent
like
me a picture of uh a picture of his dashboard, and the dashboard screen had a picture of that bun on it
Wait, the dashboard screen on his car,
on
like
his car,
as in
and I
his
was
phone
like,
is in his dashboard, or is it like
no, it was like a you know how a lot of newer cars have like the big screen, the big touch screen on them.
yeah, with like a built-in GPS or like the video
Yeah,
camera
so
for the backing up
that
and
just had
stuff?
a picture of the bun on it, and I was like,
Like,
I didn't know what car he had, so I was like, did you just like I thought he had
yeah,
performed some hack magic, like he
yeah.
put
I
digital on
think
his
you have
car.
to like, because I don't think any of these cars have a web browser built into it. So,
Apparently, all you have to do on this one is plug a USB into it, and
oh,
it
maybe
shows
it
you
has like,
pictures. So I
where it
was
has like
like,
picture
okay,
frame mode, where like,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
while
okay,
you're driving, you can look at pictures. Yeah, I don't know what he does. He's kind of an enigma.
yeah.
He's even I'm in a Discord where he invited me to a Discord that he's been in for a really long time, and I won't say what it is just because um it's kind of a
Okay,
weird
can you join
story.
the voice channel because I saw Happy D just joined in, so I want to see if he wants to join in.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'm just gonna just click on Ready Up. Let's just go there.
You still getting me?
Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, so basically we can just so that way he can join in because I don't know if he has Rabbit. So there's that.
Yeah, so even these people in this secondary server that has nothing to do with the Dick Show, that apparently they know of him and they've known him for a very long time. He is still some sort of mysterious bun posting man to them.
Oh, so he does this in other non-Dick Show
Yeah, he
discords.
seems to have a very wide range of servers that he's in, where he's just known as the guy who posts buns.
But the thing is, like, then he'll talk about things normally, and then like sometimes reference the photo, sometimes not. But then what's interesting though is because I'd say maybe like 2/3, no, okay, 1/3 of the discords I'm in is related to Dick in one way or another. Like it's either like
Yeah.
Waterboy, Hazen Cruz. I for a time was in like the Discord where everybody was saying a bunch of stuff to Chris the Kiwi, telling him
Oh
things such
yes.
as
Yeah, Gabe's.
Dick.
Uh,
Oh, that was Gabe's. Oh, okay.
I think so. Yeah,
That Dick is like a trillionaire, and that
that was a good night. I was there for that.
I was listening in, but I wasn't actually saying anything because I just wanted to see what was going on, and and then the next thing I know, I listened to TDS, and he's calling in saying that, well, my cousin hasn't blocked me on all of the methods of communicating, so
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, that was uh,
he's a
interesting.
he's an interesting dude,
I mean,
Chris the
maybe
Kiwi.
he's trying to do that meme thing where like you're joking around, like because there was a thing like where it's like it was like kind of cool to joke about being into incest or pedo shit, like not even pedo shit, but like lolly shit, like back in the early 2000s, like
Yeah,
it was kind of like a meme because like it was all about being on 4chan and being edgy and saying like, oh, like I look at lolly and I don't care about that, blah blah blah, and then and then like people had a sense of humor back then, and but then you also had these people who kind of just took it too far,
yeah,
and then they end up like just bragging about how they have CP on their flash drive, and then they get arrested by the cops who investigate said flash drive, find evidence, and then arrest them for it because
yeah.
that's
You
not
know,
what the meme or joke was. It's not a it wasn't that.
yeah, I've had to stop doing shit. Like my New Year's resolution this year was like, don't I can't do shit ironically on the internet anymore. Um,
Because it becomes real. Is that what it is?
because like no one knows if you're being serious, and I feel like at a certain point it just becomes like real. Um,
Are you saying that like that this is gonna become real? That like this that we're gonna actually turn IRL into a megalomaniacal business conglomerate that attempts to take over the world while imitating Kurt Eichenwald? Because that's a little bit concerning.
that was like that was a half joke. I I do think there's actually a real danger of that. but I don't think we're anywhere close to it. Um,
I think
and
it's like addiction. Like I think some people have addictive personalities, and
well, it's that too, and I do genuinely believe companies, big companies especially, and tech giants will absolutely exploit that addiction for financial gain. Um, I don't necessarily believe that there's a shadowy cabal trying to control. Like,
oh,
shit,
so
there was a
that's
guy on a
some
couple weeks
pretty
ago on the Dick Show who was saying how uh, the Illuminati is trying to do all this stuff to control the populace. I don't necessarily believe that. I do believe that there are small groups of these kind of people who um, do like grasp for power wherever they can get it.
yeah.
Um,
So it's not like a specific group of people that's doing this. It's just a subset of said
yeah.
specific group of
and,
people
and
that
I
are doing
genuinely
this.
believe
That
that
that have an overrepresentation in the U.S. Senate.
or any government really in high places, I honestly think that about 30% of the population are just assholes. Um, like you could do the nicest stuff to 30% of all people and they would still be assholes no matter what.
But then there is that thing of like it's either malice or stupidity. It could be one or the other because I've noticed that sometimes I think I feel that like people are cool, and then other times I feel that like we're giving people too much credit for being able to not be a
Yeah.
fuck up. But
I
there's
would
this.
absolutely say you could break that 30% down into those two, whether it's genuine malice and greed or just being dipshits. Um,
Malice?
yeah, malice and greed, you know?
Michael Malice.
Stupidity out of malice?
No, 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 no.
What?
Just stupidity and greed and or malice. Those three things which make up 30% of the population, which are assholes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a
Gerard
nice.
is in the chat room. I have a bad habit of not paying attention to the chat. Sorry, Gerard, but yeah. Trans weirdo that ran for Congress. I believe that's Brianna Wu. I was actually kind of tempted to actually run against Brianna Wu just for fun, and I would just all of my like political positions would be like the least popular things. I would literally brand myself as like the bad guy politician. So like my campaign slogan would be vote for the bad guy, and then the positions I would be pushing would be things such as things that no one actually wants to vote for, uh like ending the welfare state and dismantling like the military industrial complex, like slashing the military budget, and also getting rid of social security and replacing all of the social benefits with just a flat like either negative income tax or something that is like very limited, and then basically like just go through the list of all the things that like Milton Friedman says that no one would get elected on, and just like use that as my position, just to just to see what would the people of, well, then it turns out I'm in a different state because I don't live in Massachusetts, but it would end up being like, what would the people of Massachusetts prefer, and then we would see where that would go, and then that would be pretty funny. But yeah, I don't live there, so that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you should outlaw motorcycles. Like everything that Brianna Wu like absolutely cherishes, make like really hard for her to enjoy.
Yeah.
Actually, outlawing motorcycles, like, that was a thought that I had for a while because I saw like that video where like that like she tried to assassinate this guy. I believe his name was Jace. Like he was almost assassinated by Brianna Wu, which I thought was like I thought that was like pretty extreme for someone who had future political aspirations. Like that's not really something that you would want on your record or in your repertoire of like things that you would be doing. So I don't
You're
Well,
know.
if you're
saying Jace W. Connors?
Yeah, he was almost assassinated by Brianna Wu. Like that was like you know like his car got wrecked too. Like from what I've heard, that's like that's pretty intense. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to Like, as Apple Milk 1980 whatever would say, that's pretty intense.
As Apple Milk, what something or other would say, there are apples in my milk, and this is a problem.
Well, if you
Well,
want to listen, if you want to ban motorcycles, you really just have to point to two places where there are swarms of motorcycles. You point to India and
okay.
that sort of area,
Okay.
and then you point to, well, basically just point in the direction of Asia, and then you go, do we want our roads to be like that? And you just leave that question there, and then
All right.
you quietly put a link to
A link to
every
Imgur
motorcycle
of
crash.
like, or it
Yeah,
could just
or
be a
like
link to Imgur of like a picture of Brianna Wu on a motorcycle, and then like
yeah,
that's your campaign right there.
that could also work. Yeah,
Yeah, but don't make sure to like MS Paint draw some little like red streaks on her tires. You know,
yeah.
What would the red
I
streaks
mean, show
represent?
the show the original pictures. Not I mean, don't Photoshop it. Don't Photoshop it. Show the actual carnage. The carnage. What she did.
Yeah, I mean, she also was like involved with Gamergate or something like that. Apparently, it's like
Oof.
I've heard that this thing called Gamergate was a kind of like terrorist organization. I don't know how many attacks or like people they've actually killed are, but it sounds pretty bad. I don't know.
Uh, capacity,
Oh Christ, they got him.
usually, but
Oh no, I think they're trying to
him
censor
They've
Happy.
gamergated. Yeah, they've gamergated him.
Oh man, Gamergate got him. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. So,
got who?
oh, you're back. You escaped the Gamergate. That's pretty good. I'm really.
Oh,
This is. Can you tell us about your experience? Was it as harrowing like as people who are
I
forced to
was
leave their
about to
homes?
say. I was about to say it was a harrowing experience, if I can say so.
Did you have to leave your home and go to a hotel room that greatly resembles your room or apartment?
Not only did I have to leave my home, I'm still not at my home.
Oh, okay. Did you
I'm not
have to
even in
check
a
into a
hotel.
hotel that had the same kind of wall damage that your home has near your computer where you do your streams?
Ah, yes, definitely.
Yeah, I heard that that's like a common consequence of being targeted by this group. So,
Hmm.
um, I don't know. Like I heard that the sequel was kind of a non-starter though. So like,
So angry.
oh, what happened?
Yeah. I got so angry that I punched a hole in the wall and created that wall damage in that hotel room, and now I have to pay for that.
Oh,
Oof.
yeah, man. I think damaging other people's property is generally a bad idea. But what is a not as bad an idea is if you first take out an insurance policy and then you rent out your hotel room to people who may or may not engage in activities that you say is against your terms of service, and then collect on that insurance policy, which
No,
you
you see, I took out an insurance policy on my fist so that when it broke along with the wall, I was able to pay for.
you pay for parking. Okay, um, yeah, that also works out too. Happy D, I would like to ask you, do you have a smartwatch? Do you have any of these smartwatch devices that pair with your smartphone?
I
Hello? I think we might have lost him. I think he was about to say something that they didn't want us to hear. So either that or my internet connection died because the internet
No,
over here is.
I'm pretty sure he got gamergated.
Oh, okay.
Um, I got a question. What's so this man has punched several holes in a hotel wall and also the wall at his home because of what's known as
in a very
oh, okay.
Hello?
No.
I just wanted to interject for a moment, but earlier you had said that you don't think that there is an actual shadowy cabal. So is what you're saying that the position is still open, so that like a company can move in and take that spot of shadowy cabal because it's currently unoccupied.
Like some sort of Cobra organization, like
Well,
from
I don't know
G.I.
if
Joe.
Cobra could do that. I mean, I do hear that they do charge like pretty high premiums for people who have been laid off and want to stay on their health insurance plans. But I was thinking more of like an organization that engages in selling products as well as offering services by making phone calls, usually by contracting people in other countries who have automated dialers. Popular
Right.
countries such as Nigeria or India, you can get like a lot of people who can do these calls for you.
Right. I man, if I had to guess what organization is closest to that, I'd say Google.
Oh, okay. So Google actually did start doing things like releasing Google Voice and stuff
Yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
that. So
I mean, they got microphones in your home, and they're collecting all the information, right? So
yeah, but are the executives at these companies ever afraid that someone might do something to just intentionally throw their AI off, such as what they did with that Tay AI character? Or, for example, let's say they have like the Google Home that's like constantly recording, and you just have that device like put like next to a speaker that you just have blasting noise, for like 5 hours at a time when you're not home.
right.
So it's just recording all this gibberish. Like, aren't they afraid that someone might do things like that? Like, when they
Uh,
announced,
No, I think they'd actually welcome that.
yeah,
Because
I
the
think they
best part
welcome it.
about the public is that they're essentially beta testers for whatever you have.
okay,
So that AI is going to learn from that, and it's gonna learn how to pick out the people in the home, their voices specifically, out of the background noise.
Also, they're collecting the chaos data and to create like a hatred AI to
Exactly.
like yeah to make it perfect for just picking.
hello, hello.
The chaos AI got him.
Uh, okay. So I think he was about to tell us the secret of that Google secret right there. Um, but that is okay. So
Yeah, so essentially I mean, the public is the best beta testers. If someone asks something that just really stumps Alexa, next time they can program Alexa so that she'll have a quick and witty comeback from it. That's the thing about AI, like the Matrix AI. The AI in the Matrix, you saw how they had a few versions of the Matrix before, right?
which movie was that? Because I think that was one of the sequels that had that.
Where they No, I think that actually was the first movie where he's mentioned they had the first Matrix, which was perfect, and it didn't work out. So then they had a few iterations of it, and they settled on 1999 or whatever, whenever it came out,
Oh,
because people need conflict.
okay. And then they chose 1990 because like that. Like, was it that they were emulating just that like that city area, or was it they had the whole world of 1990 that like that you could just go to like anywhere in 1990?
That's a good question. Um, because I feel like there were a lot of places in the world in 1990 where shit wasn't so great, and they probably wouldn't want to emulate that.
Yeah, because you have like places in the 90s that were probably a lot more peaceful than America, and then a lot
Oh,
more
absolutely, yeah.
dangerous. So
Um, yeah, that's
yeah,
a good question. That's a real thinker. Uh,
yeah. So I
we'll,
was I
we'll have
was
to get
actually
the
wondering about that.
Wachowski
Like,
sisters in.
yeah. So are they still around? Did they answer questions about that, or like did they just
I have no idea. The last thing I heard about them specifically was that one of them had transitioned into a woman, and then the other one also transitioned into a woman somewhat sometime after.
Whoa, are they twins or are they like not twins? Because that would be interesting to see like if you have like especially if you had like identical twins and then finding out like how the transgenderness affects one or the other. Like where you have like one twin, like do they if one becomes transgender, is that usually is it a thing where like the other one is more likely is usually going to be the same um I guess transgenderness?
Oh, I see. I was incorrect. Only one of them is a woman now.
Oh, okay.
Uh, wait, what? Uh, Man, this is confusing. It says they are sisters and they are both trans women. However, in this photo here, it appears that one of them is still very male looking. However, um, deeper investigation provides that they both look just awful as women.
Okay, so I don't quite understand what is going on with that, but they made the
Yeah,
Matrix.
I think that would be a good study. Like why did they both transition into women, right?
Yeah, wait, are they twins though, or are they just like siblings? Because I think that would
I
be
think
like.
they are twins.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Do do.
So I wonder, like I wonder if like if that's something to do with like cells or something like that. I don't know. I forgot what my train of thought was. So that's the end of that train of thought that I had. It's like if you had a train of thought that was running on tracks that eventually runs out, like halfway through where it's supposed to go, and then
Right.
kind of just like, yeah,
No,
that's kind of what
they
happened.
are actually not twins. They are 2 years age difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Although
too far away to me.
the sibling thing there is an interesting dynamic. Um, if it were still culturally acceptable to study things like transgenderism, I'm sure they would get interesting data from that.
Oh, like a longitudinal study.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think that I don't know. Like, is there like a way you can volunteer for that sort of things? Because maybe they can just volunteer and then it'll be okay.
yeah, I can't, I can't imagine they would.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Happy
but
D, what is your take on this? Do you think that should volunteers should volunteer transgender studies not transgender studies but studying of transgenders be a thing or not? Because
Wait. So, well, I mean, the study. Yes, we should study them. Like they are people in our populations, and their statistics matter. What do you mean You mean like them volunteering for study? Because
yeah,
that's kind
it's
of biased. But
yeah, that might be biased, but like I think people usually have qualms if it's like a compulsory study.
I mean, it depends on the study.
Well, I mean, when we're talking about compulsion and transgenderism, I think I was about to go into this in one of the previous episodes, but it was like something to do with like how like back in the day when people were like very barbaric, they would like conquer another like civilization and like rape the women and stuff, which
Yeah,
or
they'd eat their gum. They'd eat their gum after chewing it. They'd spit on the ground.
yeah,
They'd
they
eat their
do a lot
boogers.
of weird stuff, but like what if instead they had like just like forced 30% of the conquered male population to become transgendered, and then that would be like a similar effect, but like without like killing people or any of that gum stuff that you mentioned, which is pretty nasty. Like no one wants to really think about it. In fact, I think they banned gum in Singapore because of that reason.
Uh, um, wait. What is the real life? What's the real life equivalent to this of forcing 30% of the male population to become transgender?
no,
If that country loses a war, if the country that loses a war, like instead of paying reparations, because like when you force them to pay reparations,
Oh,
that causes problems.
listen,
okay.
I thought we were just doing a study on if siblings who are transgender will both be transgender. I didn't realize we were gonna make 30% of populations.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
no, not 30% of the
hmm.
population of your own country. Just like like hypothetically, if you go to war with another country and then the country loses, that other country loses, that's the punishment. Instead of
I,
reparations. because reparations are like they're bad. They cause like.
Do you
bigger
think that
conflicts
would
down
be
the line.
like more of a deterrent than just pay us money?
For like future wars? Probably. I
Yeah,
don't know.
just like if you fought in this war and you lost, you got to become a chick now.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's because it would be just like 30% of like the male population in general of like the losing country just has to become transgender.
I don't think
Okay,
there's enough
so-
hormones for that. I
No,
don't
because
think.
the thing is like back like what they used to do in some cases what they've done is just like basically kill all like the men or whatnot. Like they've done that sometimes, which is like that's like overly barbaric. So like with this method, you wouldn't kill people like after the war that you killed a lot of people.
Okay.
So-
Okay, so you kill 70% of the men and you turn the rest into women.
Well, no, you just turn 30% of the women because like then like it would even out because like now you have 30% more women, so like you don't have to worry about like all
Yeah,
the
but
whole
like you
discrepancy.
can't reproduce with them.
Well, yeah, but like I don't think that's really the point. I mean, like if you
Also,
look at it-
how far transgender do they have to go?
I don't know, probably as far as the winning country wants.
Irreversible. But
I gotta listen. I just gotta say, I don't think I'm down with this war punishment. I think we should just all be friends.
This would also give like a lot of people opportunities to volunteer for like these studies, and then you wouldn't have because like the current transgender population is like a very very small percentage of.
okay, you see though, many if not all transgender people they didn't volunteer for that. They didn't
Volunteer for
they weren't
studies?
for no, they didn't for no for transgenderness. They
I
weren't
think he's saying
forced
they didn't
into
volunteer to be trans.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're going for the whole, it's all everything in life is a choice. I mean, I you do you,
I don't know.
not
I mean,
physically though.
what you do yourself? Like, is that a sex joke? Like to tell someone
Maybe.
to go fuck themselves?
I mean, that's a good one. I'll keep that in my pocket for later. Thank you.
That just reminds me of that scene from The Simpsons, which I saw when I was a kid, where they fired a model rocket, and then the rocket went into the office of Mr. Burns and landed in his like his jacket pocket, and he's like, "Smithers, there's a rocket in my pockets." Like Smithers was like, "You don't have to tell me, sir."
Oh yeah, and then it exploded and burnt his genitalia off, and after that he felt emasculated. But then he actually he started to feel happier, and he started to realize that he was actually trans.
No, it landed in his the breast pocket of his jacket, of his suit jacket.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I haven't watched any recent Simpsons episodes, so I don't know if like stuff like this still happens, but that's basically what happened in that one episode. This was like back in I think it was the '90s or maybe early two. It was in the '90s.
I have I have watched maybe 2 episodes of The Simpsons.
Were you alive in the '90s?
Yes.
Okay, because that was when like the Simpsons probably peaked in popularity. It was probably around that time.
Yeah, I just didn't watch it. I just watched History Channel
No, the History
and
Channel.
National Geographic
Hmm.
and Discovery Channel.
Oh, okay.
And
We're dealing with a very educated man here.
Oh,
a once educated man. I have everything that I have learned has slipped out of my brain.
Yeah, I'm the same.
hmm. Yeah. Also, I heard that if you do drugs, that also happens too.
Listen, I don't do drugs, but I do stay up late a lot and not get enough sleep.
Yeah, sleeping enough is good. You should probably try to get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night. I read this on a website that was related to sleep and health.
I've heard that it's good to get 4 hours of sleep, then wake up for an hour, and then get another 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
Oh,
some people say that.
I've never heard of that one before. I've heard of the one where like you sleep for 30 minutes at a time, and then you stay awake for like 5 hours or something. It's like some weird thing. I don't know. Like very
Okay.
strange like sleeping cycles that like.
All right. Do I sound better now?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
actually sound better. You sound like a different person. You sound like a new
My
man.
volume isn't on. Okay.
those those Fitbits and stuff. They also track your sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like they'll tell you if you're sleeping well at night. What do you think Google is doing with that information?
they
Um.
probably they.
hmm.
I don't know, man. The first thing that came to my mind was the "He sees you while you're sleeping" portion of like the Santa Claus song.
Yeah,
So maybe Google wants to become Santa Claus. That could be it.
I think Google they lease that information out to the local urban youth and
right.
have them uh
Steal all my shit.
yeah, they use that to like line their pockets and like you
Right.
know increase their bottom line.
Okay.
Google is really not maximizing their potential with that because they could also release another service called Google Snitch, where like you could use it to snitch on your local criminals to get rewards from law enforcement, and then like Google would just take a cut of it, and then also
Right.
data mine that for some more data as well.
And they could
Um,
implement this thing called social credit, where if you snitch enough on like the bad people, you can like you have good social credit, so you can have like nice plane seats
Mm-hmm.
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Once Google takes over the airlines, then
Right.
that'll be okay because they're a private company. They can do what they want.
Right.
So that's one of the great things about being a private company. So um, I'd say like a good piece of advice is to be a private company and then get government contracts so that like you can get into like a pseudo government esque position where you're
Right.
kind of like doing some government stuff, but at the same time you're getting a private company status. So you can get basically both sides of the benefits on that one.
Right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
It's a good idea.
yeah. I mean,
I
we will not get to the post bathroom society before accomplishing something like that. That's part of the process because you need to be a private company slash having like influence on the government in order to like pass legislation regarding bathrooms and things.
right. You can't just do that.
Yeah, we saw
Okay,
the
so
hello.
wait, so in a post bathroom society, how will okay, in a does that okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing, a post bathroom society? Is
Well, I
that
think
bad
that's
for
the ideal. That's
transgender
the
people?
ultimate goal is because before we had like four bathrooms because of the segregation, so that was it got rid of segregation,
Right.
and got down to two bathrooms just for men and women, and then
Hmm.
thanks to Tumblr, we've managed to consolidate that to a single bathroom, the gender neutral bathroom. In the United States, at least, in Mexico, they actually went in the wrong direction by just adding a third bathroom for non-conforming genders.
Right.
Um, so they
And in
have three
India, they just
bathrooms.
shoot on the beach, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they took it in the wrong direction. So by having three
Yeah.
bathrooms, I think that
They
was
just have
because
no
of
bathrooms.
they had this thing where
They went too far. They should have stopped at one.
yeah, so they had the thing where they were allowing transgender people to use whatever bathroom they wanted, and then you would have like then these men who said that they were transgender would go into the women's bathroom and like sexually assault them, and then
Right.
that led to them saying no, we just have to make a transgender bathroom that's separate from the men and women bathrooms.
Hmm.
But that's just Mexico. That's not America. America decided that in places like the Javits Convention Center, you can just replace all of the bathrooms with gender neutral bathrooms, and then everybody has more bathrooms available.
See, and I feel like that's a really poor decision from Mexico because, like, have you seen how they build stuff in Mexico?
No, I've
Just
actually
building a third bathroom in every building is just like that is you're asking for just chaos.
I've only been to Mexico once,
Yeah.
and I wasn't really paying attention to the buildings because I was really enraptured by uh these fake fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I bought off the street.
Oh,
Mm. And like it had all the Egyptian gods. Of course their names were incorrect.
right.
Uh
I've
and
always been disappointed with the Pokemon slash well, I never actually played the Yu-Gi-Oh games, but the Pokemon games I've always been kind of disappointed because in your minds as a kid, you think like you walk around with your Game Boy, and then like you just encounter someone else who has a Game Boy and a copy of Pokemon, and you can play against them, and it would be pretty cool because it's like getting like random encounters with like other players in real life. But I only played like the first gen when I played like multiplayer occasionally, and ultimately it comes down to if you have Mewtwo and the other person doesn't, then you'll win, and if the other person
Right.
has a Mewtwo, then basically it's just like everybody doing the same moves with their Mewtwo's until one of them runs out of stuff first. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
and
kind of fixed
it
that
hasn't
with
really
the
changed.
3DS had a really good. They had like Street Pass, and you could actually see other players pop up who were like like by you.
did they
Um,
fix the whole issue with like there being a Mewtwo that's just stronger than any other Pokemon? So if like so that it doesn't
um,
matter what you use.
it kind of
Um,
depends on who you were facing, because there are those like supreme autistic people who like they do the EV training and then they do traits and stuff so that their Pokemon, like you could have two identical level Pokemon and theirs will always win because theirs has like the superior breeding and the like the better stats and stuff.
I did quite a bit of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Gen 1, I had some friends who managed to find glitches to I think the strongest glitch Pokemon they got was a level 255 Snorlax, and
Oh,
basically the way it works is like it has a double health bar that like wraps around the other side of the screen, and
mhm.
then like the only way you can actually beat them is by using a one-hit kill move like Fisher or something that has like a low probability of landing,
Yeah.
and if you land a one-hit kill shot on them, then you'll win. However, it's gonna take like a long ass time for that bar to drain because his health is so high, and
That's how I just remember that is how I beat those kids with like the Mewtwo's.
yeah.
Um, you know how you could go to Cinnabar Island and catch like the missing no and they would turn into some Pokemon in your PC?
No, the only missing no trick I was able to do was duplicating the item in a specific number slot. I think it was like slot number 9 or whatever. So, like for example, if you didn't use
Yeah.
your Master Ball yet, you could
There
duplicate that.
there
Yeah,
was one where if you caught them, you could turn it into like a level 225 wheezing that knew like explosion.
yeah.
All you would do is send that one out first. They'd have their Mewtwo. You'd use explosion, kill both the Pokemon, and then have a fair fight.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. But like you were saying, in the later generations, they got rid of this. They got rid of this like whole Mewtwo nonsense.
I mean, there's okay, so there's far more Pokemon, so it way more of them are viable. There are like actual tiers in the competitive scene, but even if you ran into somebody that just had a team of 6 legendaries like Mewtwo,
Yeah,
if you have a good team and if you know how to play the game right, if you do have you if you've done like some EV or IV like EV training or IV breeding, and if you just have good setups, you could trounce them easily.
Oh yeah.
so what you're saying is this Pokemon is subtly pushing this message of racial superiority and racism
Eugenics.
with this breeding thing.
Um, I mean, it's not really a superior. Hmm.
I mean, in Gen 1, they straight up said
It's
that
not racial
Mewtwo is a
superiority.
superior
It's
Pokemon.
specious. It's
The,
specious superiority because
Yeah,
in
yeah, they
all
had like the whole like Mewtwo Master Race in like the first one. So like everybody like I remember there was another trick you could do where you could kind of clone a Pokemon by doing the trade with the transfer cable, and you basically just get a bunch of Rattatas and Pidgeys or whatever, and you shut off the game system in the middle of the transfer at a specific point so that the person who's sending out their Mewtwo still has their Mewtwo, and the person who's getting the Mewtwo gets the Mewtwo, and the Pidgey just disappears. So then you do this enough times, and you can have like a team of 6 Mewtwo's.
okay, but that's irrelevant to the topic at hand. The idea of it being racist or anything, but it just to think about it, it's not racist to say that a human being is stronger than a worm.
Uh, I don't know. Steel, you said that you live in Canada, right? What does Canada say about that?
Um. Well, animals aren't really a protected class, so I think humans win.
Well,
Yeah, I
see,
think
in
animals
America,
are
it's a little bit
wild.
more fragmented because you have like the government of New Jersey who says that PETA is a domestic terrorist organization, and then you have PETA who says that animals should be a protected class and that
Right.
and then humans are evil.
You know, we give our provinces a whole lot less power than you guys give your states.
Okay.
So our all of our human rights stuff is really just federal. Um, like that all terrorist stuff, that's all federal. A lot of basically the provinces get to look after their roads and their health care and their alcohol, and then they get to shut up about everything else.
Really, does the government actually say that? Like you get to shut up about everything else?
Essentially, and a lot of times, like crimes will go up through the provincial court, and then the Supreme Court will just say, "Yeah, no, everything you said is wrong, and we're gonna take it from here."
Oh, so it's like a pyramid scheme version of the government.
Sorta. A lot of times they'll just get expedited, but
Okay. That sounds pretty interesting. I've been to Canada a couple of times. I've been to Toronto and I've been to Vancouver. So
yeah,
the interesting thing about Vancouver is there was this weird park that was like it was like a park in the middle of the city that like at some point the park turns into like a beach
yeah,
and there's
yeah,
like a gazebo that's like in the water and I'm like this is pretty interesting.
yeah.
And then those in Vancouver where like they had like this grocery store, a urban fair where you could just go there and like you could sample foods over there, and they also accepted both American and Canadian money, but without conversion. So if you, it's the same price regardless of which currency you pay with. So you're kind of getting ripped off if you use the more expensive currency.
Oh yeah, they do that. They also used to sell back when pot wasn't actually legal. Vancouver just had like a field day. They would have dispensaries open like kind of in they didn't really give a shit.
Oh, okay.
They'd do the same thing. They'd say, Americans, come over, buy your weed, pay in American dollars, and they would just kind of rake in the cash.
By selling weed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think that.
they'd sell it to Canadians for the same, well, the same dollar amount, but in Canadian.
Oh,
So
okay. So, yeah, at this point, like, I think it was like a couple of dollars difference if you were gonna do that. So I don't know. So I don't actually buy weed from shady people because I don't use weed. But then also
yeah,
I don't really know how that works. So yeah, I actually was surprised to learn that a lot more people do drugs than I thought. I think this might be also related to the state of like people seeming to be getting more credit than they should, given that like the amount of drugs that are being used is a lot higher than I previously thought.
yeah. It's funny because I'd always hear studies and stuff that's like, oh, 40% of youths have at least tried drugs, and I'd look back and I'd go, well, man, no one I fucking knew in high school did drugs.
Yeah.
But then again, and the problem was though is I grew up in like a fucking hick farm town.
Same.
Um, and as soon as I moved to the city, holy shit, did everyone do a lot of drugs?
Is it like just like alcohol and pot, or is it like actual like hard
No,
drugs?
it's well, I'd say that 40% number is a little more pot related, but I would say I do know a lot of people, myself included, who have at least tried another substance.
Oh, okay.
Um, I worked as a bouncer at a bunch of bars in the city I currently live in.
Uh huh.
And I mean there was coke and MDMA everywhere.
Oh,
So I'm used to seeing it. It's just I do know people who use not on the regular anymore, but I do know of people who've used them.
yeah. I've never actually been to any of these like kind of like places where people do drugs in like a party rave situation.
Yeah.
So I don't even know.
I mean, it was never really out front. They knew like if we saw them doing it, we'd kick them out, but you could tell people were on it. You could
What, when you saw them do it, did you kick them out?
yeah, well I'd take it and then kick them out.
Oh, okay.
And then we'd like just be like, "Yo,
Just donate the drugs that you confiscate to charities.
yeah," or like
Those kids need it.
Well, I never kept them. I was like, "Yo, manager, like, do you want this bag of fucking MDMA?" And he'd be like, "Okay."
Is MDMA like is that one of the drugs that like kill you
Oh
or
God, no, no.
kill your
Um,
dopamine glands or whatever?
yeah,
Like
it will. So extended uses of that will burn out your dopamine, essentially, like the glands and stuff. You can get real fucked up on it.
yeah.
It's your I don't think you can overdose on ecstasy. Um,
Did they have those
I think
weird
I think
dare
you get
campaigns in Canada? Because
yeah,
like where like
the
they tell
dare
you like if
campaign.
you do drugs then you're going to be an incel or something like that. Like
Oh no, it was always if you do drugs you're gonna die. Like that was it was if you do pot you're gonna fucking die.
if you do pot, you're gonna
That's
like
yeah.
I
It's like you're
remember
gonna crash your car into something and you're gonna be dead. Like
yeah, because
that's
I think that like like a way to ensure your profits as a business is to push a very heavy anti-piracy messages, such as the videos where some kid downloads an MP3 and like these guys like barge in and like shoot him and then like it's like don't illegally download music. And that was the message there.
yeah. Basically the result of doing anything even remotely illegal was getting either shot by police or killing yourself in some horrible way.
Oh wow.
Or cooking eggs.
Yeah, or smashing eggs.
I think this is
Like a
actually would be a pretty good premise for a video game. I think that would be pretty interesting.
Although from my own experiences, the worst thing that happens when you do drugs in real life is you overdose in the street. A bouncer, namely me, runs up to you, jams an naproxone syringe into your chest, and then you get mad at them for ruining your high.
What's the proxome syringe?
It's essentially it's pretty recent, but a lot of the bars in town have got them now, and like pretty much every like emergency response, like cops all have them now.
It's like an EpiPen, but for drugs or something. Like
Kinda. I don't know if it's adrenaline and something like a diluent that basically just like flushes the drugs out of your system.
it's like an anti-drug syringe.
Yeah, it's basically like if you're ODing on heroin,
Yeah.
like this stops you ODing on heroin.
Oh wow.
The reason we have it is because fentanyl is such a huge problem right now.
Yeah, I've
And
heard
people are
about
just
that.
dying left and right.
But can you use this for like alcohol? Because like for example, I listen to TDS. Dick's always complaining about having a hangover. I'm like, why doesn't he just get one of these syringe things? Like
Well,
anti-alcohol syringes.
I assume they're very expensive.
they're that's the thing is they're not actually because
Wait, he's talking about a hangover though. I think that's mainly dehydration though. So why doesn't he just drink water? Isn't that what it is?
yeah, hangover is all water all the time. I also think that if you jab yourself with one of these, it's like an EpiPen where you probably do need to go to the hospital after. Because it's like adrenaline and shit, right? And that's
Yo, that guy didn't go. Nicolas Cage didn't go to the hospital in The Rock after he like stabbed himself with like, the anti-VX nerve gas syringe that he had to
Yeah.
like stab into his heart, which I don't quite understand how that works. Like you just stab yourself in the heart with like a giant needle that like
Yeah. What it
somehow
does is
doesn't damage your heart, and then after he does that, he's
I
able
mean
to
it does. Like if
he
you're
lights the
really
signal
ODing
flare.
like that, so the naproxone is actually just like you do have to stab them in the chest, but it can really be anywhere.
Oh, okay. So it's not like and you don't have to stab them 3 times like in what's that movie? Pulp Fiction. You don't have to stab them 3 times, right?
No, you do not. It's all it is like a major muscle group thing.
Yeah.
So you get into them, it disperses, and then they come to. It's not stab the bitch in the heart and get it through like the chest cavity or whatever.
Or like cartilage or whatever
Yeah,
it
you
was.
do not have to jam it straight into their heart.
Oh, okay. Do you have to be trained for this? Like, do you have to get like a certification, like an EMT?
Yeah, you do. I do have my EMT training.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm certified for that.
Yeah, I tried to go to EMT school, but I failed, so I didn't become an EMT. So, I can't stab people with these syringes. Now, as an EMT, how viable do you think the syringe gun from like Team Fortress would work? Like where if you just have a gun that can just shoot a syringe. Like let's say you got um like an army of drug addicts just like
Right.
charging at you, and you gotta like have a fully automatic syringe dispenser to get them out of the drug state so that they will calm down a bit.
I've been saying naproxone this whole time. It's not naproxone. It's something else that I can't remember the name of.
I
Naproxone
imagine
is
that
an
administering the incorrect
anti-inflammatory.
drug would have
Um,
very bad consequences when
um,
dealing with these drug addicts.
yeah, no, it basically just comes in like an EpiPen that you jam into people. But yeah, those like a needle gun.
I honestly think
Theoretically, it could work if they were like hypo needles that you shot at someone and then they just like immediately injected whatever it was into them when it hit them.
Yeah, like ever since I
Blow
played
dart.
Metal Gear Solid 2, I've always wanted
Yeah.
like that to exist, like the tranquilizer gun.
Oh,
so
the
you could
trank
just have
dart. Yeah.
so you could just have like non-lethal, like military like covert actions.
Yeah, so trank guns do exist.
I've read that they're
yeah.
not really practical because you need to have it administered to the person's exact like weight and height and metabolism, and
Yeah,
it's not.
otherwise it's either not going to work or you're going to kill them.
Yeah, basically they
Um,
won't fall asleep or they'll die. So
Yeah.
they're not very viable means of unless yes, like I don't know, like there might be like a melee alternative where like you
Right.
stab them with a device that like measures their metabolic rate or whatever, and then administers the correct dosage so that they fall asleep.
Right.
I mean,
But at
or
that
you could
point,
just throw a
you're
big
probably
net over them.
huh? What happened?
That too you could, or you could just like hit them in the head with a rock.
Yeah, at that
That's
point there are
um,
other methods
Just
of
a
knocking
little.
them out that would probably be more viable if you're an
Yeah.
actual soldier that knows what
Yeah,
they're doing.
yeah, you don't have to overcomplicate this. Like knocking someone out is not all that hard.
But doing it from distance is the problem. That's the one that they have to figure out.
Well, at that point, listen, I've been shot by one of those rubber bullets.
You got shot by a
by a
rubber bullet?
Yeah, those really hurt.
I imagine
and
those can kill you too.
they can, and generally,
I mean,
that is definitely enough of a deterrent, at least for me.
is that like a Canadian thing though? Because I heard in Israel what they use instead of rubber bullets is they use 22 caliber, like .22 rounds, because they consider those to be less than lethal.
They can definitely be lethal.
Well, not in Israel. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a thing. So the rubber, I forget what the actual quote unquote caliber on the rubber ones is.
was it a shotgun or like a rifle? Because I imagine like
It was a. So I got hit by when I did So the reason I am EMT trained and I have been shot by all these things is because I went to police college.
Oh, okay.
So I've been pepper sprayed, I've been tased, I've been shot with beanbag gun, I've been shot with a rubber bullet. I wouldn't recommend any of those things.
Okay.
If you see like those protest videos on the internet or anything,
I don't ever.
and you're like, and you see someone getting beamed with one of those bean bags, they will knock the shit out of you.
I know. I imagine that like that these protests are not like a lot of the protests seem to be a little bit weird because it seems that the cost benefit ratio of protesting for a lot of what these people are protesting for don't really make a lot of sense. Like I can understand if it's like for something that's like very very important, but when it comes to something that's like for like something that's kind of just like made up or bullshit, you're really putting a lot at risk for very very little return. And
I will say the Paris protests I do believe are for a good cause, and I do.
I'm
believe
not talking about that. I'm talking about like things that are happening in America mostly, but.
Yeah, I see a lot of those, and I am like, yeah, these are really fucking stupid. And a lot of the times, I wish the cops did more in those situations, especially if you have, I mean, it's just people, Antifa people blocking streets or Tiki Torch Brigade assholes doing the
Knocking
same
over trash
thing.
cans.
Yeah, it's like
It's
no,
like
just
it's like they got a real problem against these the real estate insurance companies because like they want to get those people to pay up for some reason.
yeah, it's like just go in there, crack some heads, bing bang, you're done, right? Um, not really crack some heads,
You
but
see, I don't know. They could just deploy the idea of the same thing that they could have done in the Middle East with the like it's like these like a tear gas bombs, but like instead of tear gas, there's like marijuana. So like you just like carpet bomb the protesters with these like marijuana gas bombs, so that they
Yeah,
all
just
just
some
chill out.
nerve agent that slowly corrodes at their.
Huh? No, it's basically you
Yeah.
just bomb with this stuff to get them to chill out, and then like
well,
they're
that's
all
listen. I mean, they're all Antifa. They're all fucking high all the time, anyways. So that won't help.
no. But I've heard that marijuana
Um,
like it makes people too mellow. So like for example,
Is
like
it like
drunken boxing is a
THC
thing.
where it's just like liquid THC that they disperse as like an aerosol?
Yeah, so like
You know what?
drunken boxing is a thing.
Dude,
but
I just want one
marijuana-
of those for like Friday night. What do you like? I'll hotbox my whole apartment with that.
But
I think we
see,
should really use like gas them with asbestos.
No, not the point
and
is,
give them cancer in 10 years.
We will.
It's not to
We
kill
will
them.
drop.
It's
We have
like-
harvested this from the ceiling of this old. This
No,
old
that's
building.
like
We will
that's,
drop.
First
it
of
on you.
all, that doesn't get them to stop protesting. So like the point is to get them to stop being violent in a way that's like the least lethal method.
Dude, that would, I don't know, that would deter me if some cop was like, listen, we're just going to spray you with asbestos. Like, I'd be like, okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah, but
Do you want
again, the
mesothelioma?
protesters are not really again they're not analyzing the cost benefit
Oh,
ratio
no, that's-
properly, so they're
they're
just doing what
idiots.
they're doing.
Hey,
Like,
they
I
have
imagine most of them are
seen
just
the
bored.
commercial.
You know what it is? It's that they're bored and they can't afford marijuana. So what the cops should do is just like like just tear gas them, but instead of tear gas, you just marijuana gas them, so that they all just get high and chill out. And then
No,
like
no, but they want that.
yeah, so like
Don't give them what they want.
you just do this, and then like it'll help the local restaurants they have around because like then they're gonna go and buy food. So
That's, that might actually be genius.
I mean that's what they should have done in the Middle East. But that's not what they did.
No. Make love, not war.
Yeah, or
No, in the
Middle
Middle East, they use nerve gas.
But is that really helping out that much? I mean, like, what even did they like? I don't
No,
know.
that generally kills people.
I mean, there was a
I
comedian
did
who
see
said
in
this. I can't even remember the
again in
comedian.
those Paris protests, the police just launched like a ridiculous amount of. I don't even think it was tear gas. It was some chemical agent.
Oh well, you see,
Which
live-
basically just knocks people out.
well, where I live, like every business here is either showing MSNBC or CNN. So,
Oh god, yeah.
they've not actually covered. I've not seen anything related to Paris at all anywhere on
In
it.
months, yeah.
Yeah, like in terms
It's
of TV.
ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
funny the amount of news bias you see because at my old job I used to watch news all the time. And right now I was actually talking to my parents the other day who are very very boomers. And I was saying how, oh, did you see the United Roll thing, the People's Party of Canada, which is a new kind of like libertarian party that's popping up around Canada.
The People's Party sounds more like a communist or socialist thing. rather
You'd
than
think
libertarian.
so, except that these people want sweet, sweet libertarian values.
That's kind of interesting that they call themselves the People's Party.
No,
Yeah,
because they're real people.
Yeah, they are real. They are real people, and they don't want the government fucking up their stuff.
So like people as opposed to like lizard. So like
Yeah, like people as opposed to NPCs.
it's like the player
Like, I've
character
seen-
party.
We actually have a party. We have an NDP, the New Democratic Party, and I've seen that like NPC-ified more than any other party because they are just a bunch of socialists.
So
You said the
this is like the
NDP.
player character party,
Yeah.
which is like
More like the no dick party.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and it's funny because they actually hadn't heard of this party, and I was like, well, what? I mean, I know you guys watch the CBC a lot. Do they not cover this? And they said, no, haven't seen anything on it. It's like interesting how the media, which is controlled by the government here, does not want people to know about this new party that's
going to
Gaining
severely
momentum.
limit the power of the government. No,
Yeah.
what they could do is they could brand themselves as like more of like a corporatist party that like uh seeks to control the government through lobbying and campaign contributions, and then that will get them a lot more support from the government media.
Yeah.
See, this is like a business tip right here. That's what we do on this show. We just give people tips on
Control
business.
the government.
Right.
Control the people through the media.
Right. We are currently the business boys.
Yeah. Like last time we were talking about science. This time we're talking about business.
Right.
Currently
Well,
the
we were talking
business
about
boys,
Google a bit
but,
earlier.
you know, if we go to war and we lose, there's a good chance we won't be the business boys anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we win, then there's gonna be like 30% more transgender people.
Yeah. Do you
So,
like traps? Guess we're
no,
gonna win this
it's
war.
more about like appeasing the I forgot what they're called, but like the people who are like all about the you gotta be not whatever. It's about that, right? It's about that, and simultaneously appeasing the warmonger. It's
Listen,
like
you're gonna be fine either way. Okay, you're brown.
no,
You're not a straight white male.
I mean, like, enough of those things. Like, I'm not brown. What is? I don't know
I think
what
you're
get that
talking
insinuation.
You're
hypothetically
like
about
tan,
people
aren't you?
who do
I mentioned like you know a
You're like
lot
a-
of things about like Taze, the co-host guy who's sometimes here, being really into basketball, but that's as
Yeah.
far as we talk about, you know, stuff like that.
Let's talk about what race Tentacle Prince is, because I can't tell.
Well, you see, we don't have to worry about that, okay?
I don't know who I wouldn't know, but tentacles Asia, Japan.
No, see,
Okay,
like,
yeah, like you're.
Uh,
Let's see. That was my guess. I'm like, he's got to be at least quarter Asian.
so the thing is like you see like on this show like you know the character I'm portraying is portrayed by me Jan,
Right.
right? So what we like to do is we like to sometimes identify as white, but
Oh,
other
okay.
times but technically that's not necessarily.
So you're
You know
white. You're
what?
white.
Don't worry about
You're
it.
white
Don't
on
worry
the
about it.
internet,
You
right?
don't need to, you don't need to worry about it, and
I
you don't have
don't.
to
I
ask me
don't. I'm
about
just.
my citizenship. I'm
Okay.
American, and I'm American
I.
enough, and I can become a
I.
member of public office if I so choose, and and then yeah, we can just go with that.
It wasn't. I wasn't saying build a wall around your house or anything.
No, you know what?
I
In
live in
fact,
Canada. We accept all
a
races
lot of people
except the natives.
a lot of our people actually are heavily supportive of Donald Trump's you know thing. Like we a lot of us are against building a wall for this country, but
Right.
you know that's not necessarily like true
Are
for
you?
other countries that are
Are you?
not America.
Are you? Are
But
your people
so
fan
all
about
I'm saying
building
is
great
we don't need to
walls?
talk about these kind of things right here.
Right.
That's not very
Okay.
relevant
Yeah.
in the world of business.
Right. You know, it's
And
not business related.
yeah. So you
I get
know,
you. I get you.
yeah. So like, I mean, an important thing that you have to know is when you're running a business, you want to have good relations with both governments and with banks, and those two things are somewhat separate and somewhat not. Okay, and this has been Business